Young people, welcome back. Bearded Math Brother here to help you out and anybody else, not just the students, the parents, teachers, the whole wide world. Guys, we're looking at chapter 1, lesson 4, skills practice, the distributive property. And I'm excited. It's one of my favorite lessons to get done. Let's recognize we got 1, 2, 3, looks like almost 4 sections here. So let's see how long this video is, right? Love it when you guys hang out the full session. So, skills practice, different than the reteach, different than the homework practice, but it's all the same. Might get my concept and skill. Concept today, guys, is again algebraic expressions, and the skill is simplifying. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. But more importantly, the distributive property is to multiply, guys. And in an earlier video, you'll remember we talked about properties, and this is my favorite property. It's distributive property. We're going to use it over and over, and basically the arrows. 4 times 3 and 4 times 5. We are distributing the 4 to what is inside the parentheses. So 4 times 3 would be 12, and 4 times 5 would be 20. So we're distributing over addition, even though the arrows are under. But hey, you'll see me go over later. But 32, because 12 plus 20. Next one, we have the distributive property over subtraction. So 5 times 7. Real important. Keep the sign inside the parentheses. So before we kept addition, this time we're keeping subtraction. And this kind of prevents you from making a mistake. No mistakes here. Looking good, looking good. 35 minus paint tape. DSE5. That's 15. No, that's 10 and 5, but that adds up to 15. Keep saying. All right, guys. The next one actually is going reverse style. I always cracked up when a kid, asked me about this. Scrub, I don't get it. Like, you don't get it? Man, of course you don't get it, because it's throwing the curveball. And you see what we did. We're showing the distributive property by expanding. Remember that in elementary? 89 into 2 values, 80 and 9. And now you can see that it's a little easier to do, I guess. 5 times 89 to me, it's a little more challenging to just say 5 times 80, 5 times 9, add those 2 numbers, boom, I get it. So we're gonna do the same thing for number 7. And again, it's your choice. You can break 104 into whatever you want. You can break 15 into whatever you want. But again, this is one of my favorite things I like to tell kids. Not just kids, I like to tell my students, parents, anybody. Your understanding. If you have an understanding of it, you're not going to be lost. If you do not have an understanding of it, that's where you start to feel like you're lost. So I'm not lost with the distributive property. I've got options here. I can show the distributive property by breaking 15 into 10 plus 5. Or I could break the 104 into 100 plus 4. I know what I'm doing. Those are my options. Those are my choices. I'm doing the problem the way I want to, which gives me power. And we all like to feel powerful when it comes to anything, I guess. All right. Looks like I made a mistake. There you go. And of course, if I don't get the same answer, I'm gonna be like, well, hold on, and I didn't do it right. But you will notice here, after I go over, you see, I told you it's gonna be over addition. I told you, you thought I was playing. I wasn't playing. Distributive property, use your arrows. And the reason why I say use the arrows, guys, it's just good practice until you are, it's kind of like collecting like terms. Just use the shape method. Right? Collecting like terms? Wow, okay, we'll get there. You remember, you'll see it. Let's get this stuff out of here because that was part 1. Part 2, guys, here we go. No, I don't want to do more. Are we done yet? What do you mean? Oh, number 8. Yes. All right, but we got to get through 2, 4, 6, and 8. So guys, some of you know Mr. Craft, whether I assign the odds, whether I assign the evens, hopefully you've got a great teacher that allows you to do enough to understand the material. So number 4, actually, it will give you the opportunity to recognize it does not matter. We've got the distributing value behind the parentheses now, indicating that the 8 is still being distributed, not the 2, the 8, thank you. The 8 is being distributed to the 2, and it's being distributed to the 6, even though it's on the back side. Don't let that confuse you. It catches kids sometimes. And again, number 4 was over subtraction, so we're going to subtract. Number 2 was over addition, so we add it, and boom, bang, pow. And again, with number 6 and number 8, with number 6, we saw before, and again, your choice, how you want to expand the value. And it looks like I'm expanding to, I don't know, what did I do here? Oh, I know what I did. Did what I was supposed to. You guys ready for 8? Give me a hell yeah, if you're ready for 8. I like that. Slow down, it's getting loud. Come on. Okay, we're ready. Here's 8. Some of y'all are just here for number 8. You've been sliding around trying to find where I'm doing number 8. It's cool, I'm glad you're here. Guys, don't let the fraction get you. We're gonna expand it again, but one of the things I love to do, especially in my videos, if you have not noticed this, slow down, teach, explain. So 2 plus 1/3. We expanded to 2 and 1/3 into 2 values, like we did before, the 90 with the 104. And now it's just 15 times 1/3. And I hate it. I'll do fractions. Okay. Yeah, okay. If you got $15 and you got to divide it amongst 3 people, what those 3 people getting? That's fractions. Each person is going to get $5. So guys, you'll see me, I always like to do a fraction times a fraction. That's how I teach it. If you know me, you know that. You also know I'm 6'8". And yeah, it wasn't hard, guys. When I understood what to do, I was able to knock that out. So no more yelling at me. Good job. And let's get this out there, guys. I think that's a great beginning of this handout. Get all this out, slide it on, get it on, move on, and part 2. So number 9, I think, is gonna get real fun here. We're doing the same thing. They're trying to confuse you by throwing the distributive value. And tell me now, what's the distributive value? 2. You got it, you said it. Thank you. What about for number 10? As we're teaching it, distributive value for number 10. There we go, 7, 6, 5. So we're on 9. Oh no, there's a variable. 2 times 8, guys, 2a. 2 times 7 is 14. Next one, over subtraction. So keep your subtraction sign. I guarantee before the end of this lesson in your school, whether you're at home, distance learning, or if you're lucky enough to engage a teacher in his natural habitat, the classroom, you'll make a mistake with that over subtraction. You'll accidentally write it as addition. Your brain is like, this is easy, and you start going too fast, but boom, bang, pow, right? 11 and 12, same thing, although I like that 12 has more variables inside of the grouping symbols than constants, numbers. Look at that. That's a beautiful arrow. I think I wrote that. 3m plus 3n. And again, box your answers. And number 12. You get it? You get it? Let's keep the operation, right? And write it one more time for good measure, because my teacher likes it when you show a little effort, a little extra, right? But, ooh-wee. Craft don't like sloppy. I'm not gonna take credit for that. And guys, little main pal. So distributive property, rewrite each expression, simplify it, we're good. On the next part though, guys, I believe if I'm not mistaken though, that's not where we are. Here's where we are. There's where we are. Where are we? So as I said, guys, we took care of part 1. Part 2, you notice now we're looking at 13, which, come on. There we go. Simplify is expressive, if not right, simplified. So this is a very good activity. It's one of those things like your multiplication facts. Just do enough so that if you have to think about it, you don't have to think long. You don't have to think long. Collecting like terms, CLT. One of the things that hopefully you took care of in junior high. When it gets complicated, I'm going to slow down and do a little bit more explaining. But 2 plus 8 is 10, and 2 plus 6 is 8. And for the last one, I can't do that. And I believe you understand why I can't. And if you don't, guys, it's because of the exponent. They do not share the same exponent, they do share the same variable. But what you see me doing now is following directions. Right, simplify. You got one of those teachers, they'll take a point off. Is Mr. Craft one of those teachers? Yes, I am. All right, guys, this is for the last one down there again. I love that they're incorporating the distributive property into the expression. What you're recognizing is 4 times 2b, which gives me 8b. Go ahead and showing the distributive property. And then over the subtraction. So remember the earlier questions, I put that minus sign in the beginning to remind me not to forget that it's subtraction. The question isn't complicated. So in this scenario here, it's going to equal 8b minus, Okay. Everybody know 4 times b. Get in there. Over subtraction. So the terms are the same. So now the second step in this expression is to subtract. And I do, and I get 4b. Again, using the distributive property and of course collecting line terms, which is what will happen most times when simplifying the expression. Again, you'll have to multiply exponents, but that's later on as we go. On the other half, we took care of the odds, we go the evens. One of the things I would like to do now, though, is to challenge you to get it done before I get it done. So as I indicate the first one, 18G, is it possible for you to take care of the second one? Of course it is. Some of the things I will remind you as I give it a pause in the video, you guys always know you can pause it and try it out before, but this is a Mr. Craft pause. And a Mr. Craft pause is to make sure that you understand any algebra teacher or any teacher that knows algebra will tell you if you cannot collect like terms, it's like not being able to add and subtract. It will forever haunt you. It's like that ghost always coming around going, you're not gonna get it right. Boo. So take the time to make sure you understand why terms are considered like. They share the same variable, they share the same exponent, similar to number 16. Number 14, it doesn't have an exponent, but they share the same variable. So as we did not talk a lot about it in the first set, the first 4 we did, I'm talking a little bit about it now, and please definitely go back and watch another video from me, first and foremost, but there are so many videos out there. STS Academy Online is doing a great job of making sure that there is content for students, parents, anybody, to make sure that they're not flooded with unnecessary non-academic material. So go check it out. The last one, of course, guys, you recognize what I call the collecting like terms method. Indicate to your teacher what you know are like terms. Go ahead and rearrange them, again, using that property. And then, of course, domain power. You got it. This handout, again, being found in the McGraw Hill, so I'm halfway through the chapter 1, lesson 4. You're going to recognize the last little bit here, guys, is usually when the students will, well, I didn't finish it. You're like, well, why didn't you finish it? You saw word problems and you saw words and that's enough. At least do one out of the two, right? So number 21, write an algebraic expression for each verbal expression, then simplify, indicating the properties used. So they're literally pulling in everything. I recognize the product of 9 and t squared. So 9t squared. Product meaning multiply. We did that earlier in the lesson. Just making sure you still know to write it as 9t to the second power. Increased by the sum of the square of t and 2. So guys, I just put that in there. Got it for you. Highlighting, underlining, showing the keywords. That's what we mean by teaching them. So we're at the end of this video, and what I am doing, if you can recognize, is I'm giving the answer. That's why you're here. So you're here to learn. And of course, by me doing the handouts, I hope you're learning. 3 times the sum of r and d squared minus 2 times the sum of r and d squared. So you hear that r and d squared. R and d squared. The sum. It's basically repeating the same thing, except on one end, I've got 2, but on the first end, I got 3. But it does say to simplify, you know. Indicating the properties used. I think I'm going to skip that, guys. Just, you know, like you, getting in the handout. Been working with you for a good 15 minutes here, you know, maybe even longer. But I got an answer. I'm happy with my answer. I didn't follow all the directions, but I got an answer. And guys, at this point in the game, I'm good with that. Always remember that what you are trying to accomplish is your personal decision. So I definitely feel accomplished in getting this handout done. You saw the mistakes earlier. We're wrapping up the last one here, number 22. And what's left is I did the distributive property, which is indicating the property. I just didn't write distributive property when I, did 3 times R and 3 times D. And now I'm showing the collecting of like terms. And the property that I could use is, you'll notice remember that? Commutative property, right? Just flipping them around. 2 plus 3, same as 3 plus 2, doesn't matter. So I'm just lining them up so that I can see which terms are like, and then just go 3r minus 2r. You got it. 1r. And then of course 3d squared minus 2d squared. 1d squared. So my efforts are outstanding. My direction following is close to perfect. It's really good. How are you doing? Guys, thank you for joining me again. BMB in your house or in your phone or wherever you're enjoying this. Come back and see me.